Welcome to FCNYC. My name is Ben Chan. I'm here with Dominic Mauro. That means it's time for mixed martial arts. Dominic, we had the big event that was on network television. It was on Fox. It was supposed to expose mixed martial arts to the masses and bring UFC to everybody. How did it go?
It went great for all of 64 seconds.
Right, we had Cain Velasquez versus Junior-Dos Santos, the heavyweight fight that people were anticipating, and did a lot of people tune in?
8 million people watched it, 8.8 million viewers. It's the single most viewed mixed martial arts bout of all time, and it was really short, so I hope they liked it. It was a first round knockout. Junior-Dos Santos did what he does, walked into the cage and punched his opponent unconscious. And that's his MO. That's just what he does. And Cain Velasquez sort of stood there and waited to get punched unconscious. Not the best of game plans, but what do I know?
Well, assuming that all the viewers out there savored every second of the main event, what's next for Junior-Dos Santos and what's next for Cain Velasquez?
Well, there's a number one contender match, December 30th. Brock Lesnar's fighting Alistair Overeem. Winner of that fight is going to take on Junior-Dos Santos probably sometime around April, May, something like that. Sweeps week, right? And then the loser of that number one contender match is probably going to fight Cain Velasquez. Well, the loser of that match just is in a free fall in the heavyweights rankings. But the number one contender, I think these guys are going to have a nice little four-man tournament amongst themselves for a while.
That's great. So does this open the door for mixed martial arts on network television?
I think so. This, this was just a teaser event planned by the Fox executives. That's why they only showed the one fight. I mean, there were 10 fights on the card, and they only showed the one. There were plenty of other really great fights on the card, but the UFC is planning 4 events next year on Fox, and they're all going to be about 2.5 hours long. So ideally, they don't all go like 60 seconds next year, but this definitely opens the door for network television. I mean, they've got a 7-year deal, right? The UFC is going to be on Fox for the next 7 years, so. Hopefully they'll all last a little bit longer than that.
Great. Now let's turn our attention to this Saturday's fight card, UFC 139. The first fight of the night, we have the American Psycho, Stephan Bonnar versus Kyle Kingsbury.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting fight. Stephan Bonnar, he's been in a lot of wars, most notably the Ultimate Fighter 1 finale against Forrest Griffin. That's what catapulted the UFC into the mainstream, the way it's grown in the years since then. He's fighting Kyle Kingsbury. Kingsbury's sort of a middling striker with limited grappling ability. Kingsbury's, nevertheless, he's cleared out the lowest ranks of the light heavyweight division in the UFC, and so Stephan Bonnar is, duly fulfilling his gatekeeper role. He's going to, be the test for Kyle Kingsbury to see if he gets into the upper ranks. Stephan Bonnar, he's got lifetime employment thanks to that war against Forrest Griffin. I mean, he's never going to be fired. He made the sport what it is. So win or lose, it doesn't really, matter for him in the long run, but, he doesn't want this guy who's, younger than I am to show up and push him down the rankings farther. So it should be a good fight. I think Stephan Bonnar is going to win this one because he's got way more experience. There's absolutely nothing Kyle Kingsbury can do to surprise Stephan Bonnar. And I don't think now is the time when Stephan Bonnar is going to get knocked out for the first time or submitted for the first time. He's a durable guy. So, good fight though.
Okay, then next up we have 2 fighters that are trying to be welterweight contenders. We have Martin the Hitman Kampmann versus Rick Story.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. So Martin Kampmann's been in the UFC for about 5 years now. Not a single title shot. He's always one fight away from that title shot, and he always blows it. He's coming off of a pair of losses, although his last one was a really closely contested decision versus Diego Sanchez. So he's not, far down in the rankings, but he definitely needs a couple more wins before he gets to fight GSP for the title. He's primarily a kickboxer. He's got really good submissions for a guy who's added them into his game late. And he's going to need them because Rick Story is just a pure wrestler. I mean, all he does is wrestle. So Rick Story is bigger than Martin Kampmann. He's stronger than Martin Kampmann. He's going to want to stall the fight up against the cage or get it to the ground when Kampmann's going to get the chance to show off his submission skills. But both of these guys are coming off of losses, and both of these guys are, not looking forward to sliding down the rankings even further. So this should be this could be kind of a boring fight, unfortunately. Story is, his nickname is Rick the Horror Story. Could just as easily be Rick the Bedtime Story. I mean, he will stall the fight out as long as he needs to keep from getting punched in the face. So, who knows? Maybe he's been working on his striking a lot. Maybe we see a really great, entertaining fight. But when wrestlers fight strikers, there's a lot of laying on the ground, just napping for a while sometimes. So, we'll see.
Okay, and then next we have two former champions fighting. We have Uriah Faber versus Brian Bowles.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the fight of the night candidates. Uriah Faber, former champion at 145. Brian Bowles, former champion at 135. Both of these guys have outstanding records. Both of them are really unorthodox strikers. They're primarily wrestlers, but both of them like to strike. Uriah Faber, he's, throws punches from weird, awkward angles. He can't be taken down. He just bounces right back up like he's made out of, Jello. It's insane. And he's just indestructible. He's got an iron chin. His hands, not so lucky. He's broken hands in his last couple of fights. In fact, in one fight, he broke his hands, both of his hands, in the second round, and then he fought the next 3 rounds with 2 broken hands. So his hand's not quite as durable as his chin, but Brian Bowles, also very, very talented wrestler, very fast guy. He's got very heavy hands for a guy who's only 135 pounds. Unfortunately, he's also broken his hand before, and that's where he gets his only loss. So expect a crazy stand-up fight from these guys. I don't anticipate either of them really wanting to get the fight to the ground, and I don't think Brian Bowles can keep Uriah Faber down, period. So this one's going to be a fast-paced, action-packed striking match on the feet.
Now, you talked about the hands issues for both of the guys. Who do you favor in this one?
Definitely have to be Uriah Faber. He's got way more experience than Bowles. Bowles he's got 9 professional fights. He's not lost except for that one time he broke his hands, but Uriah Faber's got 9 fights in the last 3 years. He's just been doing this for the last decade. So I think Faber, he's got way better cardio. He's been in a lot more fights. He knows how to handle. He knows what to do when your hands break in the middle of a fight, which is apparently something that you can do.
Okay, and then the next fight on the card, we have a mixed martial arts legend versus a guy who plays video game legends in movies. We have Wanderlei Silva versus Kung Lee, the Strikeforce veteran.
Yeah, Wanderlei Silva, he is definitely, without a doubt, a legend. I mean, he was the champion of Pride for 6 years. He went undefeated in all his championship matches. He did lose in some of the Grand Prix to guys who outweighed him by like 40 pounds because, yay, Pride. He is a vicious Muay Thai striker. He's got 24 knockouts. He just, he's a flurry. He's like a Tasmanian devil of knees and elbows and punches just coming at you. Or at least he was a few years ago. I mean, he's definitely over the hill. He's lost his chin. His defense was never great, and now his chin that used to compensate for that bad defense, it's kind of faded completely.
But Kung Lee was in Tekken.
Well, Kung Lee was in Tekken. He was martial law in the Tekken movie. So
he kicks hard.
He kicks very hard. So I think if Kung Lee can get a juggle, an air combo or something like that, he might be able to pull out the victory against Wanderlei Silva. Seriously though, I mean, Kung Lee, he's a good kickboxer. He's very flashy with his strikes. If he does manage to land one of his triple spinning back kicks or something on Wanderlei Silva's chin, we could see an upset. But like you said, this is a guy who plays video game characters versus a guy who's been in like 5 video games now. I mean, like actually been in the video game as the character because he's the champion. So, good luck, Kung Lee.
Okay.
Don't get kneed in the face.
And next, in the main event, we have Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Dan Henderson, another guy who fought in Strikeforce, and 2 guys who fought in Pride.
Yeah, both of these guys were in Pride forever. Everybody wanted to see these 2 guys fight. They're both at 205 pounds. What do you say? Shogun is, he's younger than Wanderlei. He's not quite a legend yet, but I mean, he's former UFC champion. He's trained with Wanderlei for years and years and years now. He's got the same hyper-aggressive Muay Thai style. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so he covers himself in all areas of the fight. He's still on the rise after knocking out Forrest Griffin in their last fight in Brazil. He's looking to get his title back after that steamrolling by John Jones. And he's fighting Dan Henderson, who's actually at 41, the oldest champion in Strikeforce history. Got to be one of the oldest mixed martial arts champions, just period. Henderson doesn't show any signs of slowing down, though. I mean, he was an Olympic wrestler back in '94. I mean, he's been doing this forever. He's been a Pride champion. He's been a UFC champ or a Strikeforce champion. The guy, he's been doing this forever. What can I say? Unfortunately, Shogun's definitely a much more complete striker. Henderson, he's a wrestler who likes to strike. He's never really learned how to jab to set up his striking. So I think Henderson's going to get hit in the face a lot as he's tries to set up his big right hand. Shogun, I think if he just doesn't circle into the big right hand, he's probably going to survive the match. But if Henderson hits you with that right hand, it's lights out. So this is definitely going to be one of the other fights of the night candidates because, Henderson lacks the defense and game planning to keep Shogun from styling all over his face with his fists.
Okay, so it sounds like last week's network event was just the appetizer, and this Saturday, UFC 139 will be the main course. We've got, seems like we have some good fights planned for the night.
Great
so
fights.
tune in on Saturday night. It's on pay-per-view?
It is, of course, 10 p.m.
Oh, 10 p.m. Okay, great. So tune in and stay tuned, and we're going to cover some boxing.